Hi, I'm Eric.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Will.
Yeah, welcome to our Batman v Superman review.
Yeah, Batman was going to be here, but Ben Affleck decided that he didn't want to be Batman anymore, so he couldn't make it.
What does that mean?
So Batman v Superman, produced by Warner Brothers for DC Comics with a budget of $250 million. They spent roughly $150 million on expenses for advertising and everything else. But it grossed in the US $330 million.
Which is shocking.
Internationally, it grossed $537 million.
Which is even more shocking.
With a worldwide gross of $868 million and a total profit of $468 million, almost $500 million.
But Eric, everyone told me that movie was terrible.
Yeah, thanks, Will. No, that's what we're here about. So the thing is the movie, the critical score on Rotten Tomatoes is 27%. The audience
that
score,
high? Wow.
The audience score is 63%.
That high? Wow.
I have to kind of do a retcon from last time about Metacritic, where there aren't that many people. There's a small group of people whose reviews they aggregate. And so there's actually, out of 51 reviews from critics, they have a 44 out of 100. That high? Okay. As far as users, just general audience people, out of 6,000 people, they gave it a 7.0. IMDb, Batman v Superman currently stands at a 6.6 out of 10 out of 503 or 4,000 reviews. They're on CinemaScore, which is a movie website that basically gives a grade rating to movies with no other heads, tails, or details attached to it. You go to it and it's literally just the rating. They gave the movie a B. So once again, you have critics who are saying it is not likely that you will like this movie at all.
Literally a burning garbage bin.
An audience is saying that this is actually really good.
A smoldering garbage bin.
Generally, the positives that have come out of the reviews for Batman v Superman.
Batfleck.
People generally say that he looks great on screen, that he brought the grit that he needed to bring to the role, and that he was a decent Bruce Wayne and Batman, some people say. Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman.
I don't know how to pronounce her name, so I'm going to say
Gadot.
The nice lady.
It's Gadot.
Miss Lady.
She is a nice young lady.
You call her Miss Lady.
The scale and spectacle of the movie. Scale was epic, spectacle, whatever. The final positive comment that I dug around for to finally get is that there was a longer version released on DVD. That's the literally
Great job.
one of the few positives.
Come see our movie. We've got Ben Affleck, Miss Lady, and more of it.
Yep.
On the DVD.
On the DVD, not in
Which
theaters.
you'll have to wait months for.
Yeah, right. The negatives about Batman v Superman.
It wasn't good.
It's hard to sum them up. Dreary, dark, depressing, and morose. These are the words that keep popping up the most often across people's criticisms of it. Wasted talent, from Amy Adams to Jeremy Irons to Holly Hunter to all these other people that are really professional, have done good performances in other movies, and just are a damsel in distress, a sideline character, and quote-unquote wasted.
It was criminal how
Which
underused
one's
Holly Hunter, she was the judge,
Gotcha.
Yep.
receives a jar of pee and then explodes.
That's important.
She receives a job.
Spoiler!
She
She did very well.
didn't she? Anyways, so the next negative, Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor.
Let's talk about Lex as a terrible villain, because Lex Luthor is a god-awful villain. Let's compare him to a similar villain, aka Baron Zemo in Civil War. They have the same basic idea. Let's destroy the heroes by pitting them against each other. Baron Zemo, at the end of the movie, the Avengers is shattered. Half of them are in prison. Captain America and Iron Man basically hate each other. Captain America literally isn't Captain America anymore. He doesn't have the shield. Now let's take Lex Luthor's plan, who decides that he's going to pit the heroes against each other. And he does this by creating the Justice League. Because in an email, he creates all of their logos, gives them a really cool graphic design. He probably outsourced this to like 12 different companies. Like they sent him Batman's thing. He's like, no, it needs to be darker. Send him the Flash. He's like, all right, so I like where you're coming from, but like, can you do like more red? No, more yellow.
Books are knowledge, and knowledge is power. And I am... no. No, what am I? What was I saying? No.
So, the next negative, Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman.
But Eric, I thought you said
Shut up,
that
Will.
she was a positive.
Some people were not having it yet. Even though Wonder Woman was a critical success and everyone has kind of accepted her as doing a good job as Wonder Woman, people were hit or miss with her and deciding that she...
Well, that's because why was Wonder Woman even in that movie?
Why was most of that movie in that movie?
A good question.
So...
Probably could have made an hour and a half. You took it all.
The next most common criticism, which that brings us to, is the forced cinematic universe. The movie does not stand on its own. No. There's so many ties of it desperately trying to catch up and become something like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Here's the thing, and this is what I want you guys to weigh in on. The Zap Pow criticism for Batman v Superman.
The what?
Bam!
Oh, Zap Pow. Okay.
The fact that everyone is going for the darker, edgier Frank Miller, let's try to live up to Christopher Nolan version of comic book movies.
X-Men, the movie. Was it dark and gritty?
I think so.
Like for 2000, yeah.
For 2000. I personally don't... I wouldn't consider it dark and gritty. But was it Zap Pow Biff?
No.
No. It was somewhere in between.
Yeah, but that movie is also weird.
Isn't it?
It is weird, but
wearing
nonetheless, it manages to tell a great story and be a fun-filled action adventure for all ages. Without resorting
Well, and that's the argument. What I'd say about that is that, in a weird way, it's being true to itself. Now, X-Men movies being true to themselves is a whole other deal.
I don't know what that means.
You would not make Deadpool the way you would make Logan.
No.
Sure.
Very different movies, very different characters.
By being true to the character. So the argument here is that when you make Man of Steel a Dark Knight-type Superman movie, that's somehow objectively, subjectively just wrong... Because that's not true to what Superman is. So that's the argument.
Sure.
But to be fair, like Superman, at least I know like kids these days, when they hear Superman, they're probably going to think this Superman. People will think of Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
When someone says Superman, they're going to be like, "Bing, got it. Dark, brooding." That's not Superman. Superman is standing with his hands on his hips, always ready to do the right thing, and for America.
Do you think it would benefit from being colorful, from being the more lighthearted Christopher Reeve?
It doesn't have to be like colorful, it just has to be not bad.
It is a serious subject matter. I mean, it's right there in the title. It's a fight, Batman versus Superman. But that doesn't mean Dawn of Justice. This is the morning of something.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that it has to be dark and somber. It can be like a...
But would it... The argument is that it would have been better if it had been that.
Because I think it should have been. Because it's almost frustrating. Because in the beginning of the movie, they talk about how, like, Superman is a symbol of hope. And, they got the moment of the people standing in the flood. And they paint the S on the roof. And, here comes Superman in kind of slow motion to rescue everybody. Because he's not in a hurry. Why would he be?
In that terribly edited, mixed up montage of Superman's our hero because of what we saw on the news.
Here's the thing. Sorry, go ahead.
So Superman's supposed to be this like symbol of hope. But his movie's just all like... Batman brooding. And it's like, it doesn't really sell it, and the tradition is almost jarring, and the rest of the movie he's all like, life is dark, but he's supposed to be a symbol of hope.
Well,
S means hope.
So I think, yes, it would have been better, the way I described it a minute ago, with more exuberance and more bright moments. And here's what sums it up for me. In the montage of saving people in Batman vs. Superman, is he ever smiling when he saves somebody?
No, because he's sad.
That's a good point.
He's sad on the inside.
He's never smiling. In Justice League and in the comics, he's always got this grin or a smirk like, hey, everybody.
Reeves, he's always like,
I saved
happy
you guys.
To be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to help all of you. Not, I guess I'll save this shuttle launch. It's, I'm glad that I could save the lives of these people.
Yeah.
Not
for Batman, it's a burden. For Superman, it's the defining, that's how he fulfills himself as a person.
Right.
Okay. All right.
But you don't get that from this one.
Okay.
I feel like the script itself, to me, the way the script is written, I don't think it's that bad. I've heard it a lot worse. The problem is it suffers from the same problem that Spider-Man 3 did, and that's just trying to
Where it's not
cram
good? Oh.
everything into it.
Villain.
I don't think it's the script. I think it's the story. And now there's sometimes a lot of confusion in other reviews and stuff like that where people mix these up in between story and plot. The difference is that a plot includes what they call non-diegetic elements.
I don't know what that means.
You know how the score of a movie is playing and the characters, no matter how well choreographed it is, aren't actually hearing the music that's playing?
Are you
Because
telling me that Harley Quinn couldn't hear Ballroom Blitz?
Right. So
That's
you know...
unbelievable.
That's non-diegetic.
That's non-diegetic. The opening credits are non-diegetic. A plot includes the placement of non-diegetic elements.
Okay, so the plot includes
for
diabetes.
comparison,
The opening and closing credits are part of the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how you're plotting out the scenes and stuff like that.
For comparison, all the music in Baby Driver, for
Yes.
the most part, is diegetic.
Yes.
Is actually playing.
And some of the music is part of the story. It's
Right.
ingrained in the story.
Okay,
Now,
okay.
so the story of Batman v Superman is the way that the plot plays out in terms of what characters do. And that is where I think the mess is. Batman, there is a point in the story where he's determined to steal kryptonite from Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
And he shoots the tracker onto the gun, pulls in what I guess is the Batmobile in that dark, dimly lit trash dumpster fire of a scene. And you have that thing going sprawling across Gotham City. You can barely tell what's going on. And the whole point of the whole thing is it just ends with Superman slamming into the Batmobile and telling Batman, the Bat is dead, quit being Batman. And then he leaves. He doesn't make sure he stops being Batman. He doesn't stop him for even a second. In fact, he went and stole the kryptonite anyways.
Yeah.
But here's the point. That story, the way that story is plotted out, we watched the action sequence that ended nowhere and didn't watch the action sequence that got somewhere.
Right.
So the story is an absolute mess. And I can't necessarily say the script because I think it's weak. I think the whole Martha moment is super weak. I think it's a good idea, but I think it's super weak.
You think it's weak?
Played out, yeah.
You don't think it's like,
Not
completely nonsensical?
Well,
It's
I don't
about-
think it's completely nonsensical. Everyone generally gets the idea, which is that I can't see you as a human, and all of a sudden I can because similar
Okay.
backgrounds.
But that wasn't
It's
Batman's motivation. It wasn't like, I can't see you as a person. It's like,
Right.
you're going to kill everyone.
There is, and I'm going to cut straight to it, the speech that I believe.
You're gonna go to war. That son of a bitch brought the war to us 2 years ago. Jesus, Alfred, count the dead. Thousands of people. What's next? Millions? He has the power to wipe out the entire human race, and if we believe there's even a 1% chance that he is our enemy, we have to take it as an absolute certainty. And we have to destroy him.
But he is not our enemy.
Not today. 20 years in Gotham, Alfred. We've seen what promises are worth. How many good guys are left? How many stayed that way?
And I was like, yeah, because I saw the beginning. I saw all the havoc he wreaked from the
let's
very
kill
beginning.
Superman.
When Ben Affleck, when Bruce Wayne looks up into the sky and blames Superman for everything there that happened, I was on board with Batman hating Superman. And to have that be thrown out the window just because his mom is up there, I don't believe it for a second. If
Which
Batman
killed the
had
Justice League.
actually beaten Superman and won, and you had pulled the rug out from under him by realizing that all your motivations for what you feel are being manufactured by someone else, that would have been the stronger reason for me.
You know what would have been cool? What if Batman did kill Superman? Batman killed Superman, then Doomsday comes out, and Batman's like,
Right, Batman
no.
goes, oh, I get it now. We
can't.
need someone to help with this.
I just can't do Doomsday. I just can't do Doomsday at all. in this
Well, that's
world.
because they made him a 30-foot tall,
Do Doomsday.
30-foot tall CGI monster, where in the comics he's
You guys-
like 8 feet tall
you guys miss
and imposing.
The orcs from Lord of the Rings.
What do you mean?
How they
He
had
wasn't-
people
he
who were
wasn't
in
an
like
orc.
costumes and makeup, and they used perspective
Wait,
to make them
You
intimidating.
mean like
and
practical effects?
actually tried to make
You
movies.
mean like practical? You mean like Lord of the Rings versus The Hobbit?
You
Yeah.
mean like
Where they made a movie instead of a CGI spectacle.
If Doomsday had been something equivalent to the
Lurtz?
nasty Saruman orc
Lurtz.
from Fellowship of the Rings,
Lurtz. Motherfucking Lurtz. Coolest orc in the world.
Hey, fun fact.
I still would not have cared because I still don't think Doomsday should have been in this movie.
your doomsday.
Why did you say that name?
Oh, I was just gonna say, do you think that the disc that they gave him with the information for Barry Allen was on a flash drive?
It's probably USB.
I gotta.
What were you gonna say, Eric? There was another criticism.
Yeah, there's another criticism.